So obviously you're the face of WWE right now. The company is doing just it's incredible to be a part of it and see what happens. It's been amazing, and we're all excited to see it grow. That being said, is there part of you that, in a weird way, still roots for AEW's success because it is something that you built and there are so many people there that you care about? Do you still find yourself sort of pulling for them to do well?
The narrative changed a lot about my contributions to AEW, and that was very disappointing. There were some people, I'm not going to say their names, they know who they were, who kind of tried to put some propaganda out when I left. There's a quote in the Young Bucks book about how I was last to the signing, and me and Matt and Nick are as close as ever, and I'm so glad that I've had them in my career and my life. But if we are being honest, AEW does not happen without me. It doesn't. And with that in mind, I could never root against it. It's like having a kid and they go off to college and you get a DUI or they get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like
you're like, what? Why are you dating this person? Why are you
right? Like I'll always have that in my heart for them. It certainly was a wound that was more gaping and painful than people realize, because now they look at the situation and they're like, oh man, you're on top of the world, you have everything. Maybe they don't understand that I really gave everything I could. I did, and yeah, I could never see a day where I was rooting against them. And then from a completely outside of me perspective, my relationship to AEW or anything, my friends, the kids I signed, the people from my school, all the stuff. But from outside of that, it's very important that they hang in there, because if that was to go away, I don't think anybody in the locker room has any clue the financial repercussions that would have on the wrestling business, the trickle-down effect it would then have on independent wrestling. We've created a really comfortable environment in sports entertainment for men and women to feed their families and to do well and to be treated on the level that their global penetration ask for. And I would hate to see that bubble burst. So that's another, random fear I have of, when they're down or if they're up or whatever it may be. But yeah, I would never root against them in any case. And that's not always easy, because there's random things said about you at press conferences, and that's a big no-no. You should never say me or my wife's name. Tony should have told you that. So yeah, I'll never root against them. I really won't.
Yeah, even though just the last couple of weeks made it hard. There were some facepalm moments there over the last couple of weeks. But SGG, you wanted to ask something on the more positive front related to it.
I did. I want to talk about Ricky Starks, right? Because we saw the videos of Ricky. He was at WrestleMania celebrating when you won.
Yeah.
And I know you don't have any younger brothers. I don't believe he has any brothers at all. But I think Philadelphia is the perfect word to describe your relationship. Like, it literally means brotherly love. So
right.
I want you to talk more about that relationship and your bond, and how did you guys become so close?
He's one of those ones that I'm actually close with, whereas sometimes the lore of wrestling makes it seem like such and such, they might be really close or they're close. He's somebody I'm actually close with, and I think it was just a matter of coming up for the Open Challenge. A big selling point on the Open Challenge was that we're not going to give out jobs. That's not, I'm not asking, because this is Tony's wallet. This is his bankroll. I'm not asking you to do that. I just think it would be good to give these outside opportunities. And then, of course, the first guy who comes up does such an impressive job. I remember Arn Anderson leaned into me and he said, he looks better than most of our other guys. And just like, just put him over. And I think at that point, I just wanted to make sure I kept him nearby. And he's somebody, sometimes you try to keep somebody nearby and they don't want to be nearby. They want to go do their own thing. They don't want to hang out with their older brother or whatever it may be. I just wanted to kind of nestle him in and let him see through failure and success, my failures, my successes. This is maybe the path and the steps that I took, just because I'd love to leave that, with somebody like him. It's no different than my relationship I actually have with Carmelo Hayes. That's now growing and more interested in kind of in cultivating. If somebody, clings to me, and I'm not saying either of them do that, I want to make sure that I'm good for them. I want to make sure, I clung to Randy Orton. I clung to John Cena, and they were both good for me. They never led me astray. And Randy, this was during his most wild time, and he still was aces when it came to being a leader and, hey, do this, don't do that. And I'd like to be that for those guys. So Ricky, he always gets in trouble because he's always visible. The security cam footage at the Rumble, him celebrating at Mania. But I mean, I think all companies are good in a sense of knowing, like, we know each other. We root for each other. We take these bumps together. So I was happy he got to be there and got to see that. He's one of the, make a lot of friends in wrestling. I think he's as close to a friend as you can get.